So here's what we're looking at. If you need to add, first of all, you can close the application to reopen the application. It's called Tapeware Administrator and it's on the desktop.
Okay.
So we're just going to double click it and open it up. And if you want to catalog more of the tapes, then we can do that, and I'm going to show you how to do that. You're going to put the tapes in the machine first.
The one that I'll text.
And you're going to go up here to Media if you want to add something, a new tape to that. Bring this down here so we can see it. So you're going to say Media. Actually, you're going to say Device. You're going to go to the Device tab to add a new tape. And it's got it listed here that this is the tape drive. Now we've already done it for this one, so I don't have to do it again, but you would simply right-click and import media. I don't have to do it again because I've done it on this particular tape that's in there. But that's what I've done when I go to the Media tab. All three of these didn't show up until we did an import, so we basically had to import the data. In order to restore something, we go to the wizard, which is the very first tab, Restore Specific. And we have to give it a name. It has to be a unique name each and every time. So they just have a default Restore Specific. You know, you can add whatever you want it. So like for this one's going to be an attempt to restore, who was it? Media, who was it?
Media 2?
No.
What?
What's this directory that we're trying to restore?
Design?
Design. But if I had to do multiple attempts, I'm going to have to make it Design 1, Design 2, because if I tried to do Design 1 or just Design, it would error and say someone's already got that name.
Okay.
Create a new one. So next. Then it basically gives us a tree structure of the server, of the old server that's on the tape drive, and it says, what do you want to restore? So this is what my possibilities are. And this is a possibility of all the tape media libraries combined. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas all we have loaded right now is D drive, and D drive is only under departments, under design. That's the only thing that's loaded. And how do we know that? I can close this and go back into media, or I can probably minimize this and go into media. I can't. But I can double click on the media. I'm going to close this just so we can see what's on what. We can double click on the media and it's going to show us what's available on that media. So that's how you're going to know what tape to load for what. Because this could get more complex the more you add to the library, and the more that shows up or doesn't show up, you're going to have to start clicking on the media so you can understand what's inside the media so you know what you're restoring. Does that make sense? Otherwise it's just going to tell you and you're going to have to go get it anyway. But so on this one we're looking at Wednesday B, and Wednesday B had department, it had design, and it had everything inside of design. So I already know that. That's why it's not going to ask me to load that tape, but it would. So we're going to say Restore Specific, Restore and I can make it that because I've not made it yet. I canceled the operation last time. So again, I'm going to go down here to that only directory, and just for a test purpose, you don't want to do this for a test purpose. When you do it, you're going to do the entire design.
We're just going to make sure it works now.
I'm just going to do one, so I'm going to unselect everything. I'm just going to go into here, here, and I'm going to select one of them. And the check mark is how you know it's selected, so it's checked. I have to do this next step. If I don't do this next step and click on this little folder that says Move, it's going to try and restore it to the same name server, to the name server that doesn't exist anymore. He doesn't exist, and he was called Server Account.
Yeah.
So I have to tell him to move to a new destination, to drop it to a new location. So I have to tell it Browse. And you can see here that there are two servers listed. One was the old server. He says he can't see him anymore. And the other one is the current server. I just called him backup server. So I would basically tell him the current server, which is backup server, the E drive, which is the USB drive, and you can make other directories if you want, or you can put them in the root. I just kind of say, I'd probably do R1, R2, R3. That way you can consolidate everything when you're done. So that's why I have an R2 here, and there's nothing really in it. So I'm going to click OK. Just click OK again. So he's selected, everything's done, and that's why he's still grayed out, but you still can't see what I've selected, but he's grayed out, showing me that something's selected, but it's that one file I selected, so I'm going to click Next. And he's asking me what media device, what tape drive do I want to use to restore from. So I'm going to have to go in here to the backup server, which is the current server. He was on bus 0, port number 2, and right there's the tape drive. If I open up any of these others, he's not going to see the tape drive.
Okay.
So, you know, you can try and open them, but they don't open.
Alright.
So keep trying them. If you can't remember which one it was, it's going to be the one that shows up the HPC 7438A next. And then he asks me, do I want to run it now? Obviously, if we're sitting here, we want to run it now. So I'm going to tell him finish. And we're going to see if he runs that one job and restores that one particular file. What happened last time on that other media set is it would pop up and say, insert media 2, when media 2 was already installed. And if this works, then what I'm going to do is go ahead and run the whole job for this one. But what you'd have to do if you want to get anything else back, you know, make sure you have the right tape.
Yeah.
Put the tape in, check out what tape it was, and then you can run the restore from there.
Okay.